Welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Alex Lord and Mark Zinno. Zinno, there was recently an article from Over the Cap highlighting 100 potential cut candidates from around the league. 3 notable Falcons were on there. Younghoe Koo. I know you love that one. I know you absolutely love that one. 2, but the next two defensive tackles that we had high expectations coming into the year, Grady Jarrett, the heart and soul of the Atlanta Falcons, and David Onyemata. I want to start with Grady Jarrett because it's unfathomable to believe a Falcons team without him on it, even though those days are coming in the very near future, just because Father Time doesn't stop for anybody. He's going to make $21 million against the cap. The Falcons could save 16, 17 million by cutting him. I have a hard time believing that's really on their mind, but you also have to address that $21 million for what Grady Jarrett produced this year, not exactly great bargain.
No, but I mean, look, if Grady is smart and his agents are smart, they're approaching the Falcons right now about an extension with a restructure, right? Get another 2 years on this thing, get another guaranteed. What are we talking about here? Probably let's call it $25 million, around 12 and a half, 13 and a half each year, somewhere in that range, right? Get that guaranteed over a contract that extends through the 2027 season where you can readjust the cap number for Grady in 2025. I think that makes a ton of sense. Again, if they cut him, it's only $4 million against the cap, which is dead. They'll save 16 plus million on the thing. So he's certainly a viable candidate from that standpoint. But I would tend to think that that's the road this goes down. I mean, Grady is what now? He'll be 32 this year.
Yeah.
Get him through 35. I mean, you could even theoretically extend it through the 2028 season. And just as long as you stretch the money out, you'll be next to nothing against the cap the final 2 years of this deal. So you get 25, 26 out of him and cross your fingers for 27. I don't think he's going to get cut. I think he's more likely to be an extension candidate here and the first way to cut money down, especially. But again, this is like priority number 2 or 3 after figuring out what Kirk Cousins is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be the first domino to fall. I would find it unfathomable that they will cut Grady Jarrett. There is absolutely no way. And most of that confidence comes from just who the Falcons have been. I mean, when the hell have they done the difficult yet necessary decision? Never, ever. In their since Arthur Blank. If he loves a player, and Grady Jarrett is in that same tier of Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Roddy White, where Arthur Blank looks at these guys as extended sons, and he is not going to do anything like cutting Grady Jarrett.
Well, he saw Matt Ryan as an extended son too until
his other extended son came
until Aaron Donald comes out of retirement.
Yeah.
And Grady, sorry, sir. But what about his running mate? David Onyemata was on this list. They don't save as much. I think it'll have more dead cap. You could post June 1st it and save $12, $13 million. Definitely doesn't have the cachet anywhere close with this organization. You're still taking away from a weakness, though. You're still creating a bigger hole right there in the middle of your defensive line, which has been a problem for damn near 2 decades. So I don't love cutting either of these guys. It's another guy that I'm looking at trying to go with some sort of restructure. Maybe you extend him for a year, something like that. It won't be the same deal Grady Jarrett gets, I believe, but I think both of these guys, like when you look at the Falcons defensive line, if you take one of them out of it, it's already piss poor. And then it's like, who do we even have?
Rook.
Unless you think Rook is going to step up and be a dog, but no. That's a heavy bet.
I mean, at this point, it's fair to say all of the draft picks on the defensive side of the ball have been flat out busts. So, I don't want to use that word. They have not lived up to expectations. They have not filled the value of a draft pick.
Haven't played.
Well, there's that too, but nonetheless. So I think Onyemata is another guy, same age situation, early mid 30s, squeeze another 2 years out of him, get him some more guaranteed money, and kick the can down the road for another year. I mean, that's honestly what it boils down to. All you're doing is kicking the cut can down the road another year. And if the production falls off that much more from both of these guys in 2025, then there's viable reason to cut them after next year, right? Like that's all you're doing is delaying the inevitable at this point in time. If they play well, great. They'll get another year on the deal. That's why you give them 2, if not a third. And Grady would have more clout for the third, I think, than Onyemata would. But that's kind of just the way this has to go. They have to sort of extend these guys and kick some cap money down the road because if they don't, again, they are looking at a very, very tight spot, especially if they're going to have $40 million in dead cap with Kirk Cousins if they have to release him post June 1st.
Yeah, I mean, David Onyemata sucked flat out at the beginning of the season. He turned it around a bit. Similarly as Caden Ellis. I mean, Caden Ellis was pretty bad at the beginning of the season, and he turned it around. So I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a Jimmy Lake thing. I don't know if it's who they were going up against. We did play some pretty damn good offensive lines there in that first month and a half. I don't know what you do. It's not only the draft picks that really haven't been living up to their, quote unquote, lived up to the billing. The free agents outside of Jesse Bates, Darnell Mooney, I mean, maybe Caden Ellis, maybe really haven't either. So I don't know what you do. I mean, this is just a poorly run organization.
I think Judon's future, it will be decided by the next defensive coordinator, whoever that is.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants to be here.
Money changes a lot.
What are you throwing at that guy? Because I might throw up in my mouth.
What did he make last year?
I think he
$9 million.
Yeah, $8 million.
I don't know that he would get more than that.
I don't know how he could.
But I think to a certain extent, if you offered him somewhere in the same range, he would take it. I mean, at this point, just to add it up, like cutting Younghoe Koo needs to happen at this point.
That's where I was going to go.
All right, let's just go there.
Yeah,
that's
where I was going.
Take the $2 million in dead cap and move on. Like, this is done. This is done. It's time to move on. He doesn't get a rehab shot at this. It's over. It's over. Time to go.
They're not going to do that, though.
I don't think they do that either. Maybe they bring in competition. I think they'll definitely bring in some sort of competition, but I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that they move on from Koo. I don't think so. Because I think in their mind, he was trying to play through injury. And so really? You can attribute, his failures or struggles to the injury. And this team, inner sanctum. Koo's in the inner sanctum. I hate to be that guy, but that's how this team operates. We're not mean guys.
I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen because the Falcons love having inactive free agents. They're going to bring in a 6th round draft pick, 7th round draft pick kicker as competition. He's going to lose the battle. They're going to pay Koo. They're going to have this wasted 7th round draft
practice squad.
Yeah, on the practice squad. That's exactly what's going to happen with the Atlanta Falcons. But I agree. Like Younghoe Koo, I think you should probably just cut him and reevaluate the entire situation without having the notion of what he's been in the past. Just cut the losses and let's evaluate the situation with a blank slate. But I don't think they're going to do that.
I don't think it's that wise to just, I think in terms of if you want to just extend somebody to lower the cap, Koo would be the best fit because prior to the injury or whatever the hell was going on, he won us that Saints game. That was like a 54, 55-yard field goal.
58.
Or 58. Like that wasn't that long ago. What is he, 28?
No, 31.
Oh, wow.
But you also have to understand he was terrible before the Falcons. Like there was a reason why the Falcons picked him up for pennies. He was cut from 4 different teams. Once you get the yips, you don't come back.
Couldn't make anything.
Yeah, but is that the yips? I think, is it the yips or the injury?
He couldn't make anything in San Diego when he was there. It was still San Diego when he was there. That's how long it was. Long ago it was. And he had to go to the AAF and kick for the Atlanta Legends in games that I called. I interviewed member of the Atlanta Legends. So, and this isn't personal. I mean, my disdain for kickers doesn't have anything to do personally with Younghoe Koo.
Well, they're not people, so we could say whatever we want.
They are the worst humans on the planet. I've said that repeatedly.
They're not humans.
That's fair. So, I just think what his drop off in production, if you're going to sit here and tell me he's injured, like, here's the thing. And this is the problem with the Falcons and their insular myopic viewpoint. You go into next season with him. If he struggles in the first 2 games and you lose by a field goal in a game where he misses one, why do you want to have to sit there and answer questions about this? Why? Like, why would you do it? It's kind of like you have like 3 DUIs on your record and they see you at a bar drinking where you drove. It's like, why would you even open yourself up to this when you know on the flip side you don't have a good answer for the question?
It also is one of those positions where it's like, linemen, receivers, quarterbacks, they can all play hurt. Kicker feels like the one position you can't really play hurt at. Like it's such a precision position. You can't play hurt, which was always a question mark. But I don't think it was the yips. I think it was the injury.
No, I think there's case to say that from 3 years ago when he hit his apex, every year has been a down year since. He's been trending downward since. He has not had a bump back up.
Last year, he hit like 88% of his field goals. Mark.
Don't make me. No, he didn't. I looked up these numbers. Don't make me do this. Because I did it to Raheem Morris in a press conference.
He struggled at the end of last year, I believe. I think, I agree it's been a downward trajectory. I'm actually of the thing where I think the injury, I think there was an injury.
So 2022 was his apex, right?
Okay.
He made, let me rephrase that. Like 20 and 21 were really his apex as far as he was at 94% in 2020 and 8 of 8 on 50-yard field goals. 2021, he was at 93%, 4 of 5 from 50. 2022, 86%, 7 of 11. Now look at the last 2 years. 86% still, 3 of 6 on field goals from 50 and above, and 73% last year. The guys.
The NFL average from 50 plus has got to be at least 50%, maybe 50, even less than that.
No, it's better than 50 right now.
No way. I
would bet it's probably around 50%.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what it is, but still, listen. I think he has the yips. I want to go back. And we don't have much time. We do have to go to break.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Through 8 weeks this year, league kickers converted 73.6% of field goals attempted at 50 yards or more, best in the previous high is 71 through 8 weeks in 2022.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
that's a fake stat.
I believe that's a real stat, and it even makes it funnier that we went and got Riley Patterson, who couldn't even kick at 50 yards.
That's crazy. People are making 70% of 50-plus yard field goals right now.
I mean, dude, I don't even see guys miss kicks anymore.
And your guy can't make 50. What are you keeping him around for? You can't make 50%.
That's crazy.
Like I can't think of a game like where the Falcons got a miss kick, so I believe it. Like Chris Boswell went out there and made like 6 from 50 against us in the first weekend. Guys.
By the way, real quick, when you suck in the red zone, your field goal kicker better be good.
Yeah, especially from 40. I mean, you're completely right. I think Younghoe Koo is definitely a cut candidate. He's the most likely to me being cut. I agree with you completely on Grady Jarrett, and then I think David Onyemata somewhere in the middle. Mark, thanks again for joining this week. We'll talk to you soon.
You're the best, fellas. Thanks.